Hi everyone. Uh, I think we are just waiting for some time. When enough number of people join, we'll start. And if there are any issues with the audio or something, please let me know. I think it's time for us to start. Already, I think it's 7:45. So, good evening to all of you. And if you wonder why I picked up this topic, the Indian National Science Congress at this time, let me clarify. The Indian National Science Congress is a pretty old institution, started in Calcutta in 1914 and more than 100 years old. But how the present setup is using it to fulfill their agenda and what is their modus operandi and how we should react to it is something about which I think we should discuss a bit. I think it was started in 1914 by two Englishmen. I think they were chemistry professors. They wanted to develop science in India, so they started it. And I think some 5 or 6 science topics were there, like chemistry, physics, botany, zoology, geology, and things like that. Subsequently, when things grew, India became independent. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister, was very much interested in science, and I think he used to attend all the sessions and he was encouraging that. And it was going along like all the science things. I also attended quite a few of them, not to present papers, but as a part of that we had a children's science congress too. And I was an active member of the National Children's Science Congress as well as the Science Congress connected with the Indian Science Congress. And we had some programs there. The first it was in Goa. Then I think I joined in Chandigarh, in Bhubaneswar, and I think in some other places too, Bangalore. Right. Now, why have we picked up this topic is that I want to discuss the systematic degradation of the theme by the party which is in power, the combination that is in power, and how they did it. I think it was in 2003 that one of the first non-science topics, that is Gomutra, was brought in by quoting a paper done by Randhawa and company, and they applied for a patent, a US patent in 2000. And this particular patent was a very, very broad spectrum one, starting from antimicrobial, antifungal, antibiotic, anti-cancer, everything, including enhancing the power of nutraceuticals. So this wide, all-encompassing was taken for what they called as Gomutra distillate. And Gomutra distillate, as per our usual chemistry terminology, is what comes after something is distilled. But in this case, it was peculiar that they did not take something which was distilled, but they took the residue. And they said that because you add it in enough proportions to this and that, and then all the activities get enhanced multifold. And this patent was given in October 2000. And subsequently, we should have waited for this product to revolutionize the whole field of medicine, the whole field of pharmacology. It can go everywhere, and even the diet for those who are sitting on that was prescribed. And this was supposed to be a major discovery of the ancient Indians 5,000 years back. Actually, this particular paper quoted in the Indian Science Congress was dissected by the Indian Institute of Science in 1974 itself. They had said that, first of all, it is not an ancient text. They dated it as 1904 or later. They said it was not before that. And then they said that the aircraft quoted there just would not fly. But what was the reason for accepting this paper? There were a lot of criticisms. In fact, they said that it should not be taken up, but yet it was accepted. For the simple reason that one of the people, Yadav, was a Sanskrit scholar, and the other man, Bodas, was the principal of a flying school. So which means that because the principal of a flying school has taken it up, it should be genuine. Or because a Sanskrit scholar has taken it up, it should be genuine. So following wide criticism, the controversy stopped there. But in 2016 again, one Pandey proposed that Shiva was the original environmentalist, and he was the one who was the first green scientist. At the same time, somebody else proposed, I think it was a Sharma, who proposed that gravitation theory was all wrong, and that gravity waves should be named after, can you imagine? Gravity waves should be named after, yes, you have guessed it, Narendra Modi. And they should be called as Narendra Modi waves. Just imagine the degree of sycophancy. In the same Congress, I think there are also proposals, yes, about Brahma inventing dinosaurs, Vishnu had heat seeker missiles, and things like that. So this is what Indian Science Congress has been degenerating because of the proponents of non-science who have been going around with things like this. I think the heights of this came in 2019, when the Vice Chancellor of Andhra University, I think his name was Nageshwar Rao, he brought science to a new height. It was not a paper presented in any session, but it was in a speech made to children. Well, don't think that children listen to things, because I've taken sessions for children in this Indian Science Congress. They ask a lot of questions, but I do not know how many questions were asked to this man. But he said that original in vitro fertilization was in Mahabharata. 100 Kauravas were all test tube babies. And then he said, Ravana had 24 different types of aircraft. He had a whole fleet, in fact. He had airports and all these things. So this was followed by big hue and cry. After that, for the 2020 Indian Science Congress, it was proposed that any paper which has to be presented, the full text has to be given. And then, I think in 2020, all these things did not happen. But how do you go about this technique? This is what we have to see. The top man, the Prime Minister, whenever he addresses these conferences, I think he has been doing it since 6 years now, he speaks very nicely, very rationally, and according to the theme. He doesn't deviate from that. You please go through his speeches, the keynote addresses which he has to give, the inaugural addresses. All of them are very rational, very much up to the point, and keeping up with the theme, because each time the Indian National Science Congress has a theme. He goes according to that. But the agenda that they want to fulfill is done by the sidekicks. This is what we have been seeing since time immemorial. I mean, since the time they came to power. That whatever outrageous things that have to be said are said by somebody else. And when they do that, they wait for the reaction. And depending on the reaction, the top man will speak. He will be silent until everything settles down. And depending on how the wind is at that time, he will speak up. So this particular technique they have been following since quite a long time. You see, of course, this is in the field of science. Even if you take in the other fields, the field of politics, they talk all nonsense and then he comes into the picture. Now, coming to the present issue which is burning us, the coronavirus thing, I would like to talk about that issue in a bit detail, because of non-science that is being spread, the reactions that are being given, the way things are being promoted, gives us an idea of his modus operandi. If you take his reaction, he has been talking very, very rationally. He talks go according to what your doctors say. People who are the ministries which are under him, they talk all nonsense. For example, the Ayush Ministry has said arsenicum album, a homeopathic sugar pill, is a prophylactic for COVID-19 infections. And this has been put into a circular and it has been dispensed to quite a few people. In fact, I have seen a circular of the Nuclear Power Corporation of India, which has given the modus operandi of distribution. These sugar pills, this is the dose, for this is the dose, and it will be dispensed on a particular day. It's not that the other Ayush things are behind it, are far behind in this. They also have been talking about their usual things. Ayurveda has been talking about things, and they have been talking about their concoctions. Add this, ginger, that, add nutmeg, add this, make one kashaya, drink it. And very cleverly they are saying it is not a remedy, it is an immunity booster for which you don't need evidence. Anyway, 85% of the people who catch the infection self-limiting, they will not even get the symptoms. So whether they drink their concoctions or not, they will be fine. So you can always say that because you took that concoction, you are cured. Yes. I think, yes, Suresh Babu asks here that it's a golden chance for India to end many beliefs. Yes, it's a golden chance for us to end many beliefs. But it's a golden chance for them also. You see, the strategic silence. Nobody is talking now. All the purveyors, promoters of irrationalism are not uttering a word. But when things end, each one will be claiming credit for it. For example, a man like Jaggi Vasudev, he is talking about some sort of breathing, helping people and all that. Importantly, his volunteers are serving food to people so that they still have relevance. They are very, very clever people, and once the things end, each one will claim credit for it. The temples will say pujas, the mosque will say namaz, the gurdwaras will say gurbani, the Christians will say Jesus Christ saved the world. So, and yes, every religious place is deserted. For that they will say, it is a strategy. Yes. So that by the topmost authorities of our nation. I really do not know what we can do about it, because this sold media, the abundant Bhaktgan, the following, who interpret things the way they like. For example, Modi says, you bang your pot and pans, and he says it is to acknowledge the service of doctors. His Bhaktgan will say it is a great move, and when you subject coronavirus to vibrations, they'll all die inside your body. Just like when he said, light the candles at 9 to 9:09, everybody said, in the darkness the coronavirus will come and surface of the skin, and when it sees the light, it will jump out and commit suicide. Yes. Here we say that yes, we miss the human rights angle. I understand. You see, we are a part of many human rights groups. We are part of a movement which stands for the human rights, the basic human values. But when it comes to our rationalist movement, we have to concentrate on the things in which we are good at. And for that, I think we have to pay more attention to these things. Yes, science without ethics is worse than religion with ethics. I do not know, because I do not know whether we have to confuse religion with ethics. If you have ethics, you don't require religion. If you have religion, which is something at the level of what we call as providing some spiritual solace to the people, it's okay. But when it comes down to the level of ethics, when it comes down to the level of education, steps into public life, you get the problems. Yes. Now, yes, golden chance for irrational people. We see the bhaktas when the situation calms down. Yes, sure. They are waiting in the shadows. And whatever happens, the credit will be theirs. Because if something bad happens, you can always blame others. If something good happens, you can always take the credit. They already started taking the credit for flattening the curve. Yes. Now, we shouldn't be silent this time. Yes, we are not silent this time. We are expressing ourselves. We are talking about irrationalism. Yes. Now there is a wonderful question here. Due to not teaching what is science in school education, yes, yes, yes and yes. It is because we are not teaching what is science in school education. We are in this sorry state today. The children from a very, very young age are brainwashed. They are not encouraged to question. That is why we have a situation today where yes, we technology, scientific attitude. Yes. People like us have to prove our patriotism. Yes, everybody will say that you have to prove your patriotism. Yes, the places of worship have to come forward. The money is there, is not of the people. It should go to the people. So that's what we say, that all the money in the places of worship is the money of the people, and it should go back to the people in a situation like this where things are so bad. Yes, we memorize science facts. Yes, we are very good at memorizing, because the education here, the oral tradition, oral methods. Yes, what we have is a society in which we have got the 21st century technology. Right, we have got the 21st century technology, but our mindset is in the 16th century. And in this particular tragic situation, the mindset of the 16th century is propagated using the technology of the 20th century. This is the tragedy. In 16th, here we have technology, we use science to propagate non-science. That is the thing. Yes. Of course, somebody has said that we should form an alternative to Congress. What is my opinion about nihilism? Can we be nihilistic? This is the question that we have to ask ourselves. Particularly the younger generation. The older generation have finished with them. So, so now what about the fear of future plans? Our plans are very, very fluid. Now the main thing in our movement was the physical relationship that you could establish with people. And this COVID-19 has totally finished it off. It has finished off our plans of going from place to place, mixing with people. I think we'll find it very, very difficult to propagate our ideology. Yes. I've got a very good question here. The younger generation, I think so, I hope so on the younger generation. Because what I see is those about 30, particularly my generation, is totally brainwashed. Absolutely, totally, 100% brainwashed by the blitz of junk that they watch on TV, they get on WhatsApp, university and the Facebook. But I see the younger generation around 20 now who have started asking questions. There are a lot of conflicts between them and the generation of their parents. And I think children, when they grow up, they may start questioning. But I've been in this field since 40 years, since 1976. And what I am seeing is a huge gap. When I joined the movement, 5 years of age, the older people were above 50 at that time. We had nobody between our 20 to 30 years and 50 years. They were either above that or below. For nobody from those 20 years. And now again I see that same thing. We are above 50, now I am 70. We see very few people between the ages of 30 and my age now. Shashi Tharoor was a great devotee of the Puttaparthi Sai Baba, the miracle man who used to wave his hand in the air and give vibhuti. I doubt whether Shashi Tharoor is rational in his approach. If he were, he couldn't be a devotee of this Puttaparthi guy. Now, you may find it very strange. Paswan, he has his own, got its name, party or some party like that. It's a part of NDA, and he is a minister in this government. Can you believe that? Chidambaram is supposed to be an atheist. So, Siddaramaya was the person who encouraged us in our quest for a so-called Anti-Superstition Act in Karnataka. Of course, we had to prod him again and again to get it passed. But finally it got passed. So maybe Siddaramaya has got a rational approach. I know one man, Satish Joli, who was a minister in this Arulmoni and this man Raja, they claim that they are rational. Jaggi Vasudev is a very good guy. He'll pick up whatever thing that he likes, and he has got a very nice glib way of talking to people. In his fake accent, he tries to convince the people. And all these 25 million trees, Mr. talking about his green initiatives and destroying the floodplains in Delhi, they are all. Are we progressing towards atheism? I doubt. Because I see some of the people taking the path of least resistance. Though they may be atheists, they'll say, okay, put up with it, do some natak and go on with it. Some of my generation people were very, very strict. For example, I never compromise. Jaggi is but of course the courts of law go by evidence, and evidence is very difficult to get in this country, which we are seeing. Of course, in a few cases evidence did come up. For example, Asaram and that Ram Rahim, the evidence came up and the evidence stood. Yes, what are my thoughts on Periyar? Periyar was a shrewd rationalist, a brilliant, which is well that nobody dare even talk about him. Everybody has to pay at least lip service to Periyar. Imagine this self-educated man, that 200 years back, and with such deep processes, and he could put together, and he built up a movement, and with hardly anything personal. So Periyar was one of the pioneers who built up these things here. Yes, scientific research centers in India. There are genuine people there, I know, but there are also pseudos there who up to those in positions of. Otherwise, people like Jaggi asking, but the people at the top would like to keep the political bosses happy. To keep them happy, you invite their godmen to your place and give them some legitimacy and force people to listen to them. People like the double Mr. Ravi Shankar talking in Indian Institute of Science. There is another fraud for blindfold in Indian Institute of Management. He took children there and people applauded that. They said that children could see without light falling on the retina. Yes. Charvakas were materialists and they were right. And everything was destroyed by the Brahminical people. Research centers go by publications, number of publications that you have. So I think it is either publish or perish. And so you look for that. And what is the percentage of fund that we spend on research? Just check on that. I think some 0.1% or something of the GDP. So with that, what do you expect? What do you expect the people to do? Is keeping up physical distancing? I see. In that case, why do you keep physical distancing only from some castes? Does it not apply to people of your own caste? And that talking about cleanliness. And as if they're taking bath in the water of a well, remove all pathogens. All trying to justify their irrationalism through alleged science. If you were practicing physical distancing, do you practice it from your own caste people? They don't carry pathogens, is it? Only the lower caste people? Yes. What about ISRO astrologers? I think it was around 7 or 8 years back. I was called to check hardware for this one. There I started my talk with, I'm glad to come to a place where the top man consults astrologers and puts a replica of the spacecraft into a temple before it is sent up. And do you know what they did? They all applauded. I said, I'm criticizing your top man and you're applauding me. They said, sir, just because our top man believes in something, do you think we also believe? So I think it's a matter of some personal front, some newspapers objected to heavy criticism. They said, how dare you question the top man? It is his personal thing. I said, okay, it's your personal thing. Do it at home. Do it for your personal functions. But can you send up a satellite depending on Rahu Kalam and all? I don't think so. You have to look for a particular timing for the particular orbit, though I am not very sure of it. And of course, they will promote all these things. Vitamin C, zinc. I don't know what is it you can do because it comes right from the top. Yes. Yes. Augustine Manavalam. What advice would you give? Sorry, we don't give advice. It's up to you to take your own decisions. But maybe shifting to Canada may be a better idea because people are more rational there. I had this opportunity to shift long back, but I refused. I said, let me see what I can do here, but I don't know what I have done at the fag end. Yes, there is some proof for vitamin C. I think it is very doubtful. Maybe for zinc, yes, but it is not properly explained, but they say that zinc does have a role in preventing viral infections. But vitamin C, I do not know. The only thing that vitamin C can do is prevent scurvy and maybe help in some reduction of methemoglobin in high doses like that. Anyway, time I used to tell people, let's be here and try to change the country. But sometimes I get a doubt whether we can change it or not. Yes. Right. Yes. 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 Right. COVID, I think WHO recommends anything, but the ICMR recommends prophylactic. I do not know how it works, but I think it is recommended for health workers. Anyway, I think we are running out of time. Yes, economic crisis affects scientific research. Yes, it does. As it is very keen on that. What we have is type of research is what we call as a jugaad research. Try to do something, improvise on something, a cheaper process, a cheaper technology. Prove that Hinduism is right. Everybody, that waving the right hand, I think, is a very, very primitive form of greeting to show the opposite party that I have nothing in my hand. So there is no big deal. Namaste. I think by Namaste you are showing both my hands are empty. That's all. So don't think that there is something revolutionary about it or that it is rocket science. I don't think you do Namaste also. You can wave like this. Why do you need to bring two hands together? You can wave with two hands like this. Why not? Anyway, our inferiority complex makes us justify everything. That's what. Just think of it. Our inferiority complex makes us think that we are superior. Somehow try to prove that we are superior. If whatever invention is there, it was in the Vedas. Whatever way of living, ours is superior. Whatever that is done was because of our ancestors. Our way of living is superior to everybody else's. That is the way we are trying to justify our own inferiority complex. And we look for opportunity to do that. Western, what is allegedly Western for everything. But at the same time, to show that we are something superior. Maybe spiritualism, maybe yoga, maybe Ayurveda. Right. So this is it. So I think we are running out of time, and 8:30 it is. So thank you all for joining in.
Neurons English is your one-stop free thinking channel. Subscribe now and get instant alerts on videos from Essence Global.